Hi, and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio and tonight's YouTube Live. I am so glad that you're here with me, whether this is your first time or returning. Welcome. I've got a fun fold card for you tonight that is a happy accident. Have you ever done that? You sat down to create something and you cut it wrong, and all of a sudden you've birthed a new project. And that's exactly what tonight's card has entailed. I've got a little spin on it that I'm going to share at the very end. So make sure you hang with me so you can see the whole project. In addition to that, I have 4 other ideas using this exact same suite of products that I'm going to be sharing with you towards the end of tonight's video. So thank you all for being here. I want to do 2 things really quick before we get started tonight. First is I want to introduce you to Megan. Megan is my assistant here on YouTube, and you'll see her name in blue off to the side if you are here during the live. Actually, if you're watching the replay, you'll also be able to see the comments and interaction off to the right as long as you log into your YouTube channel. That would be your Gmail address, which is the second point. If you want to chat, you've got to log into YouTube. Again, that's your Gmail address. That's not a Lisa thing, that's the YouTube thing. All right, I think we're ready to get started. Are you guys all ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn the camera down. Let me get you centered and squared in and moved in a little closer so that you can see well. I've got my iPod here and or my iPad. Too many eyes in the world, I think, right? All right, I'm going to start tonight by telling you that I'm going to be sharing all the cutting dimensions for tonight's project after the live is over. Give me a few minutes after the live is done, and I'm going to come down in the video description below, and I'm going to give you a link to all the pictures and all the cutting dimensions. And the reason is that I designed this card from scratch, so the cutting dimensions are a little bit unusual. They're not difficult by any sense of the word at all, but keep that in mind. All right, so I'm starting with Night of Navy cardstock here. This is an odd size. This is 3 3/4 by 10. Now, I did this on purpose because I wanted it to fit into a medium size regular envelope, okay? So that's what I've got here, regular medium envelope. So when it's done, it does fit in there. Now, I did score it off center. You're going to see that. So this is actually scored at 5 1/4 inch. Again, all the cutting dimensions are going to be down below. You're going to need to give me a few minutes. I always like to come back in with my bone folder and reinforce those crisp creases, especially when we're doing a fun fold. That's really, really important. Do you see here how the top half or the back half is a little bit taller than the front? That's going to be very important as we assemble this card. I'm going to go ahead and just set this off to the side for just a second. Excuse me. The weather is changing here in Florida, and that's what happens to my throat. So I apologize for that. Designer Series paper. Isn't this gorgeous? Look at these copper foil accents. This is from the Brightly Gleaming Suite. The designer paper, the elements, the foil, everything is spectacular. Like almost all the Designer Series papers with Stampin' Up, they are double-sided. One side you can use all year round. The other one is specific to an occasion. I don't know about you, but I could certainly add that to a birthday card. I'm going to go ahead and flip this over, and I'm going to add adhesive to the back side. I'm using my silicone craft sheet underneath me, and I absolutely love that because adhesive, liquid glue, and hot glue will not stick to it, which means I'm going to keep my table here nice and sticky free. I don't know about you, but when you get really close to these edges, sometimes it ends up on your table, and then you're fighting that sticky spot the whole time. All right, so here's the front of the card. And you're going to remember that I said that it was a little bit shorter than the back half. So I'm going to open this up so you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to mirror this to leave a small border all the way around that card base. So there we go. We've got that here. All right. So again, you can see the back half is taller. Again, that's going to be really important. Let's work on the next element. Now, the one thing about this suite is the absolutely gorgeous color coordination to the products. And I want to share these with you. These are the brightly gleaming foil elements. Now, you're going to notice there's quite a few missing here because I've had a ball with these. So there are 50 pieces altogether. So you get lots of the large stars. There are ornaments. I know there's a horrible glare, but that's what foil does. So sorry about that. And there's some small stars. And you're going to notice that there's some sprigs here and these little ornaments. I'm really having a good time with these. Now, before you joined me, I went ahead and I popped out one of the big ones here so that we can, didn't have to fuss with that on camera. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to use small dabs of liquid glue. And I mean small, because one thing about liquid glue, I don't care what glue it is, if you get too zealous with it and it oozes from the front, it can leave like a marred or a little bit of an opaque finish on the foil. For tonight's live, I'm going to go ahead and use a glue dot in the center. So I'm going to recommend that you use glue. And the only reason I'm not tonight is just because of time. Obviously, you don't want to watch it dry. Nothing like watching glue dry, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that down here in the lower right-hand corner of the card front. Now, this is going to get some stuff across the front, so I'm not really worried about it wiggling too much. The next element I want to create here is a small banner. And this designer series paper comes from the exact same product package as this one. Again, double-sided. Look at that copper. Isn't that pretty? Now I'm going to create banner tips on this, and you can definitely do that with your scissors. And for those of you that don't know how to do that with your scissors, I want to quickly demonstrate that for you, but I'm going to show you a cheat that is so much easier. All right, so I'm just going to demonstrate. I'm just going to do it visually, all right? So you're going to cut a slit in the center of the designer series paper. So just eyeball it. One of the important things you need to know is the deeper the slit, the deeper the tips are going to be. So you're just going to want to make a little tiny slit, and then you're going to go from the outside corner, from the top of the slit on both sides. And you're going to do that on both sides of your paper if you want the banner tips on both sides. And that's going to give you a perfect banner tip. But what's even easier yet is this. This is the tailored tag punch. Now, in its shape of its own, it's fantastic, and I love it. But did you know that it makes perfect banner tips? Check this out. Don't you love that? Okay, so let me show you how this works. I don't know about you, but I love punches because they're quick and they're easy, especially this time of year when we're creating holiday cards. Now, keep in mind, this fun fold you can change up to be anything. It does not have to be Christmas. I'm going to slide that down to the top of the punch. I am looking visually to align the center of this punch around the center of the paper. And I'm going to back that up a little bit, and then I'm going to punch. So that's going to give us our banner tip. How easy is that, right? So much easier than your scissors, I think. So I love, love, love this punch. Everything I'm using tonight, you're going to be able to find in my online store at lisastampstudio.com. I offer really great, generous ordering rewards too. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different. I am going to flip this over, and I'm going to add dimensionals to the back side of this. So I've got my full-size dimensionals here. I'm going to make sure that this is well balanced across my star, especially because I'm going to be mailing this card. I know that for sure. So I want to make sure that I don't have any wiggling and twisting when this goes through the postage meter at the post office. I'm going to be using my Take Your Pick tool attachment that has a paper piercing tool on it. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but this dials up, and there are different accessory tips that come with this. Best $10 you'll ever spend. There's a tacky tip here for picking up sequins, small pieces of paper. I've got a whole video on this product. Absolutely love it. So I'm just taking off those paper backings with this. Love that it wrangles all those little backings for me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a little bit of interest on this angle here. Don't be afraid to tip things on your cards. You want to create visual interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right across here, and I'm going to add this on a slant. So we've got a little dimension going on here. Now let's go ahead and let's work on the greeting. I've got a scrap piece of very vanilla cardstock here, and I've pulled out the words Merry Christmas. And this comes from the stamp set called Christmas Gleaming. This is all part of that same suite of products. So there's the stamp set. And by the way, there's a 2-punch pack that punches out these ornaments. Let me show those to you too. The elements, the foil, and all kinds of goodies. So let me show you the punches. I've got those here. So this is the larger of the two that punches out these 2 ornaments. Hey, nothing gets quicker than that for Christmas cards than punches. And then there's another punch here that punches out this one. Now, for those of you that like even faster and quicker yet, punch them out of this gorgeous designer series paper and call it done. So love, love, love that. The great news is this is all in stock and ready to order. All right, so let me set that off to the side, and I've got my Merry Christmas here, and I'm going to be using the coordinating Night of Navy ink pad. I love Stampin' Up! Products simply because of the color coordination. So everything matches. The ink matches the paper, that matches the designer paper, that matches the accessories, and on and on and on. I don't know about you, but if you've ever bought a paper and accessories elsewhere, you'll know a red is not a red, right? There's like a gazillion shades of red. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp that here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this just off camera. I have my Stampin' Scrub off camera, or your Stampin' Chamois, however you clean your stamps. I always recommend that you take good care of your rubber stamps. Clean them right away. You're going to find that that serves you well. Now, I just re-inked this thing earlier today, and it's pretty juicy. So let's see if we're going to be able to work around this. I'm going to take my scissors, and I'm going to leave a slight border all the way around this greeting. Now, this is simple. This is something even the kids can help you do at home. Don't cut right on the stamp line unless that's the look you're going for. You can see how the stamp actually leaves a negative for the words itself. And I absolutely love that. So I wanted to mimic that with that border that I've actually cutting around. So there we go. By no means am I perfect, that's for sure. But there we go, we've got that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this. And typically, I'm a big fan of dimensionals. But since I use that already here on the banner, I'm going to use just a little bit of adhesive. So I'm going to flip that over, and I'm going to add adhesive strips, just a couple little dashes all along here. And then I am going to add this here. But watch what I'm going to do. We are going to tip this once again. We're going to add even more visual interest. Now, I wanted to play up some more of that copper because I love bling, and I think it's Christmas, and you can't have enough of it. So from that exact same suite of products, I'm bringing in the Star Designer elements. Now, I absolutely love these. You can see how many I've used already. I want to show you too, look how flat the profile is. You don't have to worry about these causing you extra postage when you're mailing them on your cards. I think they're great all year round, especially even on birthday cards. They already have glue dots on the back, so I'm going to come up underneath this, and I'm going to pick one up with my paper piercing tool attachment, and I'm going to add a little bit of extra interest right here just to bring all that into play. Okay, so now the outside is done. Now we're not quite finished with the whole fancy fold part, so hang with me. I'm going to set this off to the side for just a moment, and I'm bringing in a piece of very vanilla cardstock. Now this measures 3.5 by 5, and like I said, all the cutting dimensions are going to be down in the video description below when we're all finished tonight. I want to stamp a greeting on the inside. And I'm going to use the exact same ink pad again. I've got the Night of Navy here. But I want to share something with you that's very, very important. You are going to want to leave about a 1/2 inch here at the top with nothing. And I'll show you why in just a second. So you want to make sure that your greeting falls below that 1/2 inch mark. So I'm going to go ahead and use another greeting from that stamp set. And this says, "And be jolly this season." So it's meant to be a phrase, "Merry Christmas and be jolly this season." Now, there are other greetings in that stamp set that you can certainly use. So I'm going to go ahead and ink that up. And I'm going to gravitate that below that 1/2 inch mark. And I'm looking to try to make this straight because my head's pretty far away because of the camera. I'll give myself a B minus. And we're going to go ahead and leave that there for just a second. I know that ink is pretty wet. What I'm going to do now is this is going to get mounted to the inside of this card, but positioning is going to be very important as I described to you. I'm going to come back here to my silicone craft sheet. I've got that upside down, and I'm going to add adhesive around the outside. See how close I got to the edge? I'm really glad I had my silicone craft sheet underneath me so that my table is not going to be all sticky when I'm done. And then this now is going to get here. Now, you're going to see that I cut this so that it fits in here perfectly. Now, let me show you what I mean about that margin here at the top and why that's important. Look, if you had stamped that greeting too high, it's going to show here. We're not done yet, so bear with me. So far we've got this. I'm going to push that off to the side. The next thing you want is a piece of copper foil. And the only reason I chose copper is because it coordinates with this. This is 2.5 by 4.25. So here's that 4.25 inch width that's going to fit inside that medium envelope. I scored it in half using my brand new Stampin' Up! Trimmer, which I cannot tell you enough how fantastic this thing is. I'm reaching for it because it's just outside my reach. Now, I know I'm pretty zoomed in, but this is now available. The best $25 I think I've spent all year. Love this because you can hang it on a hook in your stamp area. This extends to a full 17.25 inches. Check that out. I love that it has non-skid feet on the back. There is a scoring blade and a cutting blade, and they navigate up and down out of the way. Love, love this hinge thing. It locks, listen, so you don't have to worry about losing your blade when you're transporting it. It's this scoring blade that I used to score this foil. Important, score from this side. You don't ever want to score from the front. And something else, once it's been scored, I'm going to fold it. You are not ever going to use your bone folder because I learned this the hard way. I did that, and you know what happened? It created some cracks and crevices in here and made it look a little bit more broken down where the white portion kind of peeked through. Now, that's a great thing to know if you like to create mixed media projects and you liked that mixed media worn vintagey kind of look. So by all means, that's a great technique to use the bone folder to break down the foil. This now is going to create a topper for this. All right. So let me show you what we're going to do. Rather than intuitively, you're going to want to put adhesive here. Don't do that because remember, this is going to be longer than what this is. So the easiest way to do that is to come back to your silicone craft sheet. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to add it here across the top. So I've got one strip here and another strip here. And I'm sure some of you are wondering if this is going to be strong enough. And the answer is absolutely positively yes. I've made several of these and I've not had any trouble. So the foil here, the fold is at the top. I've got it open. And all we're going to do now is we're going to center this. But you do not want this up at the crease. You want to have a little bit of give here. So I'm leaving, I would say that's probably 1/8 of an inch, maybe even 1/4 of an inch. And then once I'm happy with it, I'm looking to see that it's even. And then we'll press that in place. Now, we're not done yet. This is going to come up. This is going to come down. Isn't that cute? Kind of looks like a present, doesn't it? But let's finish off the top here. I decided to bring in this absolutely gorgeous denim ribbon, and it's double-sided, so you do not have to worry about tying it backwards. You know, some of those single ribbons, it's quite frustrating because you don't want the ugly side to show, right? So I'm going to give you a couple tips about this that I think you're going to find they're going to be very, very helpful. This is going to come up to the inside. Remember, this is the crease on the back of the copper foil. You want to make sure that it's laying nice and straight. I'm going to shimmy this over to the left side because that's where I'm going to make my bow today. And then I'm going to come up and around and I've got my tie. I want to try to keep this as even, as straight as possible. Just do your very best. I'm going to put my finger here. I'm going to do my best while you're all watching me to make a bow. And if you don't think this is hard on camera, it is. All right, so there we go. We've got a bow. Hey, that's pretty good. And I'm going to tighten this up. Now, also very important, we're going to give this a haircut, but I'm going to give you some card hacks that are really important when you're dealing with ribbon. So I'm going to cut this on an angle, make that look pretty. And I'm going to come up here on the side and make that look pretty. I always cut myself about 4 inches more than I need because there's nothing worse than struggling with a little tiny piece of ribbon, right? All right, very, very important. If this were now to come in and out of the envelope, this is going to slip and slide. So let's go and give you that hack idea. I've got my glue dots here. I'm going back to my take your pick tool with that piercing tool attachment. I am going to pull off one of the glue dots. I know it's going to distort the shape. It's totally okay. But look what we're going to do. We're going to make sure that this is positioned right in the center where we want it. We're going to lift that ribbon up and we are going to tack that down. Now, if you feel safer putting more, you absolutely can do that. But that's going to keep it from sliding. But we're not done. And remember, I told you I got a twist on this project. Don't go away. I also have more to share with you. Here's another one. This time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the knot behind this bow. I know that's going to be hard to see in the video, and I'm going to place it right behind there, and I'm going to press that down because that's going to keep the bow where it needs to be. All right. So now this comes up and then this comes down. Is this not adorable? And look how quick and easy this is. There are no funky cutting dimensions. You're going to love this. But are you ready? You're going to love this part even more. Check this out. Gift card. Guess what? It fits perfectly. All I want you to do is add a glue dot, 1 or 2 to the back, stick it right there, close that baby up, and you can put it right inside your regular envelope. I did go ahead and put the same greeting on the outside, and you're going to see that it fits inside perfectly. I didn't tack that down, so it's sliding. But look at that. Is that not fabulous or what? Great, great card. I had a feeling you guys would like this. All right. Now, I've got more cards to share with you using this exact same suite of products. Let me share those ideas with you for just a minute. Right now, the cards I'm going to share with you coming up right now are all part of this month's card kit, which means you can make these with me from home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the pre-cut supplies to make a total of 8 cards. So you're going to get 2 of these. So I'm going to give you the designer paper, the foil, the cardstock. It is all pre-cut and ready to go. And you're going to notice that this is a specialty. You guys see the embossing on this? Isn't this gorgeous? Now, those of you might be looking at this thinking, well, I don't know how to do all that. I wouldn't know how to assemble it. No problem. I've got you covered because I'm going to include a video so you can stamp right along with me from home. Step by step, I make the card right alongside with you. And you can stop and start as often as you'd want. So you can work at your own pace and when it's convenient for you. So here's 2 others. That's a total of 4 cards. Aren't these beautiful? Oh my gosh, that copper is classy. I'm including the ribbon on this one as well. Okay, and then here are two others for this month's card kit. So you can actually make these 8 cards with me from home. Now, obviously, if you want them to look identical to this, you're going to need some supplies. You're obviously going to need the stamps that I just shared with you, and of course, the punches. And then here's the last two. Isn't this pretty? Again, look at those elements. So for a total of 8. So you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 cards. So if you want your cards to look just like mine for the kit, you would want the Christmas Gleaming bundle. That is the stamp set and the 2 punches that we talked about earlier. Now, there are other products that I did use here. Now, keep in mind, you're getting all the cardstock and everything else. Now, let me flip the camera around and give you a few more details about that, and we'll go over that card I just made. Okay, that's easier than talking hands, right? I always thought so. All right, so this gives you a chance to whip out your Christmas cards quick and easy this holiday weekend that's coming up, Thanksgiving. Between today, which is November 13th, and Saturday, which is November 16th. Whoa, 16th. If you place a $50 product order using my card kit exclusive host code, that's the only way I know you're entitled to the kit, is if you use that exclusive host code. I will send you all those pre-cut supplies, the video, and a PDF tutorial to make these cards at home. I'm going to give you the envelopes, the pre-punched label pieces, the foil, all the good stuff. You're going to need ink. If you want to color them in just like mine, I have a list of all the supplies you'll want over on my website, lisastampstudio.com. Click on the online classes tab, and then there's card making kits. Now, keep in mind, there's only a 4-day ordering period. I cut this off right on time. Anything that's submitted after that does not qualify. Now, important to use that host code. I cannot stress that, because if you don't, then I don't know you're entitled to the supplies and I can't order, cut, and prepare them for you. The only time you're not going to use the exclusive host code is if your order is $150 in product or more. You wouldn't want to use the host code because Stampin' Up! Gives you what we call Stampin' Rewards, which are free product dollars for you as a reward for that size order. But it's imperative that you email me and you let me know that that order was intended for the card making kit so that I know to cut a kit for you. Okay. Now, again, you're going to get the PDF tutorial, the video, the pre-cut supplies, the envelopes, all the goodies. All right. So go over to lisastampstudio.com, online classes, card making kit. You can get all the details there. I think Megan's probably sharing the host code and all that good stuff now because she's awesome like that. Again, that ends on Saturday of this coming week. There's just a very short ordering window. Now, here's the good thing. I have a very quick turnaround time, and this month's going to be super quick because I want you to get your cards supplies as quickly as possible because I want you to be able to enjoy putting them together just around the Thanksgiving weekend. So I have a promised mail date no later than November 23rd, and I'm going to give you a little secret. It's going to be before that because I'm going to be spending Thanksgiving with family this year. So I want to make sure that you have those in the mail to you, and they do come first class mail to the address you use for your online order. Okay, but my card making kit customers also get an added bonus. They get invited to a private YouTube event. So it's a private link, and I do several live demonstrations, kind of like this, but bigger and a little longer. They also get a bundle of 8 tutorials, pictures, cutting dimensions, supplies, and I also do product prize giveaways. So everybody who orders a card making kit is automatically entered and they will receive the link for that special event. So that is coming up. The ending period is on November 16th. Again, the fun fold tonight, if you'll give Megan and I a few minutes, we will come back and put all the cutting dimensions. We'll put the link to all of that so you guys can make this at home. So fun. You're really going to enjoy this. And it's really kind of a fancy way to put a gift card inside now, isn't it? That was lots of fun. I also want to let you know, too, that when you head over to lisastampstudio.com, I would love for you to sign up for my free weekly e-newsletter. There I share a tutorial that I do not share on any of my other platforms. It is completely free. It is a no-frills thing. I send it to you in an email every Thursday. So I would love to have you sign up to be able to enjoy that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel below. Make sure you click that small little bell icon that's next to it. That will give you notifications when I'm live, and you're not going to want to miss that because I'm going to be back with you live on Wednesday, looking at my calendar, December 4th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time for a brand new project that you are not going to want to miss. I've got a really cool technique I'm going to be sharing with you. Until then, thank you so much. And if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up here on YouTube. It certainly helps. And thank you for joining me tonight. Megan, thanks for all your hard work. I hope you all have a wonderful, happy, and blessed Thanksgiving. And I'll see you in just a few weeks. Bye bye.